The Federal Trade Commission said Tuesday that for more than 2 years, Amazon didn't pass on tips to its drivers, even though it promised shoppers and drivers it would do so. Jeff Bezos' suborbital spaceflight service isn't going to fund itself, right? When reached for comment, the Amazon founder said brusquely, "See, this is why I strongly believe that anyone working in this company needs to be replaced with delivery drones. These yokels with their greedy little mouths will be the absolute fucking death of me." Well, if you wanted honesty, you've come to the wrong place. Cunnilingus and cum dumpstery. Yes, that is what we're at here.
Ooh, I love it.
It is not cola, it is cock.
Coca-Cola.
Time to whip it out and start cooking.
The power of the mic compels you.
Much like cock, I need one. And at this point, you can smell the Caucasian through your speakers.
You're screaming and I scream.
I think I missed half of the references, but I understood the point.
Dim-witted dunderfuck. This is the Disinformed podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
I'm Courtney.
It's also why Mr. Bezos stepped down this week.
I was going to say.
I believe that.
Oh, boy.
Ah, jeez.
Please stop with the Mickey Mouse already.
I want my fucking money, haha.
Oh, no.
I can't be beat, Shane. People burn when I'm... People burn when I'm beat, haha.
Beat off.
Well, all right,
He's up there,
Mouseketeers.
third eye blind.
I'll never let you go.
Okay, so pre-roll, we were having a discussion about Stephen Jenkins' need for auto-tune correction when he's breathing, basically. And Michael, of course, elected to drop one of
song.
the major singles, which was Michael.
I'll never let you go.
Okay, so that's one, and then we threw down the gauntlet, and I said I require Michael to give me at least 3 more Third Eye Blind song titles.
I think we're gonna gatekeep Stephen Jenkins fandom here. And if Michael can't name 3 songs, then he's never allowed to talk about Third Eye Blind again.
Oh, well, I guess I can't.
Come on, monkey, dance.
I know Semi-Charmed Life because, anyone that grew up in the 90s knew that song.
2 more.
There's another one where, like, the person is, like, talking about a chick that's smoked out, and I can't remember that song.
This is not the $10,000
Going
pyramid,
very
my
well.
friend.
Yeah, so I give up. Yeah, I'm not a
Courtney,
90s kid.
do you got him?
Yeah.
Okay, but you didn't come forward and, like, make it sound like you knew a lot about Third Eye Blind.
I don't talk out of my ass usually.
I
Or
knew
out of
the
turn.
song. That was it. I had to. Ooh.
Oh, well, lightning comes and lightning goes, and it's all the same to me.
And I last just about as long.
Lightning?
Yeah.
Crashes?
Thunderclap.
That all happened to me in slow motion.
Did you say
Or a
Thundercat?
motorcycle. It almost reminded me
Thunderclap.
of a motorcycle drive-by.
Ooh, look at you.
Weird.
At least I was throwing stuff from, 3 bad albums later, but I actually really like Third Eye Blind.
You know what's really weird is that I feel like I've been losing a whole year.
Well, I remember when you and me used to spend the whole goddamn day in bed.
All right, yeah, we get it. You know stuff about music. You know stuff. I don't know stuff. Yeah, that's a whole
also
reoccurring
really
theme of
perplexing-
this podcast.
What's really perplexing to me is that we are all recording on, we have a Zoom conference call going right now. We're rolling audio in the background, actually capturing our individual mics. That's to be said that we have Google right in front of us. At any point, you could have
I'm
just
not gonna
fucking
cheat.
Googled Third Eye Blind. What? You're
I
on some
would've
high
cheated.
horse? Yeah.
You were asking
Michael
on the
has
spot.
not.
Hold on, let me just do something.
That's not how you... Michael, you just got to get better at lying.
This is why you can't graduate college.
No, I'm giving up on college now.
Well, you
College
just didn't
gave
cheat
up on
good
you,
enough.
is what I heard.
No, college has not given up on me. That's why I'm still there. They'll still take my, I guess, labor? Because I don't have to pay them or anything like that. I just work.
Hey, you got
Labor,
vaccinated
labor.
from it, so I wouldn't complain too
A
much.
win-win, I would say yes. So.
Mr. 5G. So, can I do a little bit of a follow-up from last week?
No.
Yes.
Maybe.
Okay, so I feel like I put something really, really disturbing out into the ether, and I feel like Shane's kind of the reason that it happened, and then it's just been following me ever since, and it culminated on Sunday.
Ever the scapegoat.
So there were comments made about me fucking my dad, and then there's comments...
They're all true.
Then there were comments about comments like that being the reason that my mom doesn't fuck me anymore.
Which is also true.
And in the midst of everything, I guess maybe my phone was just listening, and I got a sponsored Reddit post that was from the r/horror. It's a horror movie subreddit, and essentially it's like, okay, so Ari Aster, who did Hereditary and Midsommar, he started his career with a short film called The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. And let's just go ahead and trigger and spoiler alert here. It is a short film about a son who viciously fucks his own dad. Just figured I'd have to let you guys know. Kristen and I watched that over the weekend, and it scarred us both after we did not have relations. We had to watch it twice. Yeah.
The hashtag Watkincest has been trending for quite some time. I didn't introduce this into the ether. It has been floating around since before you and I were acquainted, if your compatriot Joe is to be believed. So don't try to foist that off on me, friend.
Now, I will say, maybe not Courtney, but the rest of you guys should watch the short film. It's hard to say that it's good because of the subject matter, but it's definitely like you can see where Ari Aster got started and like what he's really strong at doing as a director and as a writer.
Making people feel uncomfortable about topics? Because I definitely felt uncomfortable during Midsommar.
Yeah, let me describe the opening scene and then I'm done talking about it. But I just thought it was too ironic that we watched it and that was the subject matter after everything we've talked about in the past couple weeks. So the movie cold opens, and there's this guy or a kid laying it, like he's like 11 or 12, laying in his bed, and the sheets are over him, and you can tell that he's kind of. Go ahead.
I don't like where
interject
this is going.
for a brief moment.
Yeah.
How long is this short film?
29 minutes.
I mean, there's nothing to say that we cannot watch this and respond with reactions.
I would be down. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
I mean, it's not like we're going to get monetized on YouTube at any point in the near future. And granted, they won't let us air it, but still, it'll be fun to watch it hit the filter.
I mean, all we'll say is this is, fair use and we're commenting on it and blah, 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 blah.
Well, yeah. The term paywall has been bandied around here from time to time. So if we do ever get that Patreon up and rolling, that would be watch the Disinformed podcast, enjoy incest. And not in the John way.
You've heard it here first. Once that happens, I will gladly do a reaction video to Strange Life of the Johnsons, or A Strange Thing About the Johnsons. But again, the opening scene, it doesn't give the rest of the spectacle away. So it's a young kid. He's in his bed. You can tell that he's getting to know himself a little better underneath the sheets, if you would.
I can say a follow.
Please describe in more detail.
He's jacking off.
Oh, okay.
And his dad walks in on him doing it, like not an intentional thing. And there's this whole big sequence, and it actually turns out to.
Sorry, I couldn't. Sorry, Courtney. That is a meme. It's a poorly drawn MS Paint picture of a stick figure opening a door and saying, "Are you winning, son?" And the son is playing video games.
This just makes me think that I'm going to change referring to masturbation as masturbation and call it fly fishing. Trying to bait the worm with my hook.
So what could have been a traditionally horrific scene in any other movie ends up being kind of
to a even worse horrific scene.
No, the dad essentially is like, I am so sorry that this happened. Like, I didn't mean to walk in on you. I should have knocked. Like, it was my bad. And, like, he's like kind of like trying to get away from that situation with some grace. And he's like, I'm going to leave now, but I just want to make sure that you know that what's happening with your body, it's completely natural. Like, everybody does this. And his son's like, everybody does this? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, do you do it, Dad? And he's like, yeah, of course I do. And then the dad leaves. And it's kind of like a sweet, like it's a sweet moment in a weird way of like, making sure that you don't like fuck up your kid by making them think that sex is gross or like sexuality is wrong.
Yeah.
But then the camera pans back and shows what the kid was jerking it to, and it's a picture of his dad.
The subversion.
and that takes 29 minutes.
The rest of the 29 minutes is pretty fucking harrowing. It's not. I did not feel good. I thought that I would.
Why do you continually subject yourself to these things? Now, granted, I do enjoy the occasional artistic discomfort, but you seem to seek it out like some sort of fucking heat-seeking missile. The trauma just needs to be something that beats you about the neck and chest, like, daily.
It's not that I intentionally go out of my way to find traumatic things. It's that I enjoy what I enjoy. So, like, Ari Aster, I know I like Ari Aster's movies. Hear me out. You're going to look like I'm a fucking idiot, which I am. But I like Ari Aster's movies a lot. So when I see someone post, like, hey, here's his first short film. It's really disturbing, but it's good. I'm just going to watch it.
That's fair. Yeah.
Now, with your Mom's House podcast, which is what got me into even more, like... taboo videos and weird shit and those live streams that I will never be able to forget.
That titty pig.
That just kind of is like it's nostalgic in the way that it was or like looking back when you'd gross your friends out, like when you would find videos to watch as a collective. And it, especially during the past year, like watching those live streams, it felt like watching it with a group of friends, seeing who would last out on seeing these horrifically disturbing clips. Is it wrong? Yes.
But it's so right.
But am I sitting up in the wee hours of the night, like going to dark corners of the web trying to see drill sounding? No.
Maybe.
Yes.
Therapist says I don't have to talk about that, so I'm not.
Joke's on you, friend. You thought that story was relatable because you think I had friends.
Courtney has a roommate.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least he's helping to, split the bills.
That's true.
Eye roll.
Wow, I've never heard someone get cucked via audio before, but that's what that sounds like.
Ooh.
I can see Jonah making that cute, adorable, sexy, pouty face from the corner.
You know, John, I know that he loves you dearly, but when he suggests that we should listen to this podcast at bedtime last night instead of letting me put music on for certain activities, and I said, what would be worse? And he was like, well, we could listen to Michael talk. And I was like, okay, I'm sleeping on the couch. I'll see you later. So he misses you,
Are you trying to
John.
tell me that Jonah wants to come to my voice?
I'm not saying that.
But he mentioned my voice.
Yeah, he does.
Which confuses me even more.
I think you're the anti.
He's saying Michael is the best contraceptive on the planet.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clearing that up, Shane.
Yeah.
Michael's girlfriend would beg to differ.
No, there is duct tape involved, so it's
she hasn't had another kid.
Remember, we established this. It's year, I think, 4 is from previous episodes is when I.
Well, I'm glad you're on a 4 to 5 year plan.
Yes. 5-year plan. Yes.
Yeah. So your girlfriend's Stalin. That's nice.
Well, sorry.
I was reaching and you grabbed. I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Does the mustache tickle?
Sorry, I kicked it off with dad fucking, but I just...
When do you not?
It's really just par for the course at this point with you, John.
You know, it's been a while
Pretty
since
much.
we talked about porn.
No.
Yeah.
like 2 episodes. It's been like an episode.
I've come to terms with the fact that John is the Buster Casey of this little collective, and I'm just going to get to live with that for the remainder of my life.
You don't know where I've been, Lou.
And when we all start slamming cars into one another out on the interstate in his honor, then, I will blame you. All the blame will just fall right on you.
Yeah, well, good.
Well, for those of you who are blissfully unfamiliar with what typically happens on this podcast, other than discussion about Watkincest and, butt buggering and all that fun junk, We usually will delve into a random esoteric topic, and in the midst of explaining it to one another, we will leaven in the occasional lie, and it is then incumbent upon the co-hosts to separate the fact from fiction in a game that all too often leaves all of us slack-jawed and empty inside. Much like matrimony, I find.
Allegedly.
And, so, this week, Michael is going to be ruffling some feathers in a discussion of, one of the greatest wars ever documented in the whole of human history.
And you tried to fucking weasel out of it today, too.
What? No, I didn't. When did I do that?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about your stonks.
I mean, I wrote like an analogy to describe the GameStop, straight to the moon, diamond hands for all the people that, know any of those references.
Save it, slick blurring.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I will start. There are 5 lies to the Great Emo War.
Say, I was going to say, you didn't say what the topic was, friend.
I'm so sorry. I was ready to go. Shane, you set me up, and then John was like, GameStop, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
The heart
now
wants
you
to
see
go to the moon.
Why his dad used to beat him all the time.
And that's why I fucked my dad.
At the same time.
Yep.
Kinky.
You gotta break the cycle.
He beat me and I beat him off.
Nope.
Well, there's a career ender.
So,
Daddy, no!
Daddy, yes.
I don't fuck my dad.
Disclaimer, air quotes.
I aged out.
Which is a shame because you were the last one, so he...
Daddy, why won't you fuck me anymore?
You aged out, son.
You got hair on your ass crack now, son. You don't do it for me.
That tickles.
First of all, you're ugly as fuck.
Secondly, those dingleberries are impeding my progress. So quite frankly, unless you learn how to wash yourself, you little freak, I'm
Courtney,
not
I
going to get
am
back
so
in them
sorry.
cheeks.
That's the origin story for the bidet. It makes so much sense now.
Jesus
Oh my goodness.
I'm watching Courtney fucking die inside. It would very much so not
Chugging a
surprise
beer.
Oh, there we go.
And that was a whole pint?
Chug-a-lugged a $5 bottle of wine.
That was actually a sour, which was really painful, but it was tasty.
Hey, that was worth it, though.
Yeah,
It's a
respect.
good one.
Okay.
I mean, I
Anyway.
see you swallow much worse in your day-to-day life, I'm sure.
Ooh-wee.
While listening to our voices,
And how?
apparently.
Indeed.
When you want to go to bed or do other various activities from what you said.
I was like, we can't recover from this conversation. Like,
Oh, we can try.
There's no.
You're like, the only thing that can happen is a hard reset.
And I was
You
like,
weren't on the lease, so help me.
and I told him.
Hashtag Jonas Strychnine.
But I was like, well, now I have to tell them that this happened. And he's like, no, you don't. And I was like, no, I
do.
absolutely do.
Save it for
You
the
know-
pod, yeah.
Truth be told, though, you could get past the Michael with a little shot of Shane.
I
Only if it's
would
mountain
actually,
time.
I would listen to you while I made whoopee.
You have.
I mean, I would do it.
The director's cut.
I think you mispronounced a word or two there, but we should probably get back to the emo war.
The emo wars, John?
Don't you
The
call
emo-
your wife that again.
The great emo wars of 2006.
Okay,
that's
now I'm
my immortal,
interested.
right? Now let me set the stage, the backstory, if you will.
So Winston Churchill.
So my girlfriend told me the first kid was Immaculate Conception. I have been cucked by God.
When he said duct tape earlier, the first thing that came to mind is like when drag performers like tape and tuck, and just imagining her just like taping the door closed and being like, no thanks, Michael, actually I'm good.
You shall not pass.
And neither will she, actually. That might be problematic.
Jesus, Courtney, you head home. There's a single tear coming out of his eye.
No, that's sweat.
That's wet. Something Michael's never heard before.
Sweat volume 43. No,
by
sorry.
God.
Now that's what I call sweat.
That's what I call
No,
sweat.
no. Tell us about the emos.
Okay, it's just after World War One, the Great War, the war
World
to end
War
all
One.
wars.
Whoa.
So, okay, a little backstory. Literally 2 hours ago, I finally had my girlfriend listen to one of the more recent episodes. She didn't. It was the satanic abuse, one. So,
So your childhood story.
exactly.
Yep.
And she wasn't really paying attention to the actual episode. She was
you were
just
talking?
listening. Well, she was just listening to whenever I pronounced something incorrectly.
How many times did she count?
She didn't count because she was constantly laughing. Whenever
Yeah,
I
makes
said
sense.
Buckley, she would point that out for the person whose name was Bucky. So it was a fun time. It was a fun time. Anyway,
I'm glad you're getting the whole family involved.
yes. It's
What else
just,
is new?
It's just after World War One, the Great War, the war to
Bullshit.
end all wars, the coldest war, etc. And if you're a tired Australian soldier coming home after watching plenty of your buddies getting massacred on the Dardanelles, which I know that name, it's a place in, I guess, modern day Turkey.
Then the last thing you want to see is an emu fucking your wife.
Yes, and or the Western Front. All you probably want to do is settle down, cook a little shrimp on the Barbie, and start a family all on your own plot of land. Trust me, that's
That's
That's the
racist.
only one I said. I spent like probably 5 or 10 minutes looking up like slang terms, Australian slang terms, and
We
none of
have
them
a
were fun.
listener or listeners in Australia. They will call you out.
I know.
You
I hope
could
they
have gone
send you
with
a-
the American standby of like, say good day, mate, to your wife or something. I mean,
I
mind
wanted to
the
be a
drop
little.
bears.
I wanted to be a little more innovative with that, but I.
Oh,
The problem is the
shrimp on the
reference
Barbie.
point for Australia is Outback Steakhouse. So I kid you
I
not,
just-
and Foster's. It's Australian for
Oh,
beer. Yeah, that
yeah,
other commercial.
mhm.
Mhm, yes.
I just want to let you
Which-
know that I saved Courtney. I saved you from Courtney literally sending you a box of bees, and now you're willing Australian listeners to do the same. And if you would like Michael's address, feel free to send us an email at disinformedpodcast@gmail.com, and I will give you his address.
More engagement than we ever get. So
indeed. Courtney, you were saying?
Oh no, I was just gonna say my uncle actually had a friend from Australia that came out and visited us out here in Phoenix at one point, and the one restaurant he wanted to eat at was Outback Steakhouse because he thought it was such a joke.
Are you sure it just didn't remind him of home?
It reminds him as home as much as the Olive Garden reminds us of home.
Hey,
When you're here,
when
your
you're
family.
Damn it!
Oh, I guess you're fucking somebody in the Alfredo then.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh.
afraid of my dad.
Olive Garden, when you're here, you're here.
I'm getting the fettuccine in the butt with free breadsticks.
They'll keep
Michael-
adding cheese until you say when.
I apologize for continually interrupting what I am sure is a riveting topic.
It's okay. No one cares about what I have to say anyway.
That's right.
So all you probably want to do is settle down and start a family on your own plot of land. Well, Sauni Djim, the government's got your back.
Do you mean Sunny Jim?
No, I said Sauni Djim. I said that on purpose.
It's one of my favorite Indian actors.
They'll give you the best plot of land that's not already owned and let you grow some wheat crops there, which did happen. It was called the Soldier Settlement Scheme. But yeah, the government gave large numbers of discharged World War I veterans plots of land in Western Australia, usually in places where the land wasn't the best, or even good for that matter. In fact, to give you three an idea, it's about the same climate as Arizona, at least around where the Emu War takes place. So just walk outside in the summer, and that's what you'll experience for all you local Arizona people. Yeah.
The plot stiffens.
Now, most of these soldiers were already farmers or shepherds before conscription anyways, so it's not like the Australian government gave plots of land to ex-real estate agents or, cobblers or anything like that.
Or they just stole it from indigenous
You
people.
are murdering Shane's brain, and I just want the listeners to know that Shane cannot keep a straight face whenever you start opening your mouth, Michael.
So let's define what Australia is.
Real estate brokers?
Real estate agents. That was the first thing that came in mind, because I was like, were they just offering plots of land to just any old soldier? Like, oh, here, you survived. Here's some plot of land. And you're like, I did real estate. I don't know what to do with this, like, empty plot of land. What do I do with it?
Maybe a touch anachronistic, but go on.
Sure, fine, that's fair.
Tomato, potato.
Tomato, yeah, thank you. It's like, you knew what I was going to say.
Eat my taters.
Yeah. So let's fast forward 11 years.
Please.
To 1929. Can anyone guess what happened on that date? Or in that year?
You bored someone to death.
Oh my god. Is it really that bad?
Not yet, but it'll get there.
Oh my god. Okay. With the onset of the Great Depression, the price of wheat plummeted, which angered these veterans who had already been given this pretty shitty land. They're like, here, have some land, develop it. Here's some wheat, grow it. Oh, wheat's worth shit, can't make money, fuck you. So the government decided to try and encourage these farmers to increase their wheat crops by promising assistance in the form of subsidies or money, right? I bet you can guess whether the government kept that promise.
The government is trustworthy all the time, and they probably paid them more than what was agreed upon.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, John. And nothing else happened after that time at the end.
And nothing else matters.
Considering that their great nation, much like our infamous nation, were both started by criminals, I can't say that I'm surprised.
By 1932, so 3 years later, with increased wheat crops and no subsidies at all given, by October, these farmers were prepared to harvest their crops while also threatening to not deliver their harvest. So they were going to harvest everything, but not give it to them. So they're like, we got all this wheat harvested, it's all ours, fuck you.
Because you didn't give us money.
Exactly.
Enough money.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So now here's Shane's favorite part. Before I continue, let me talk a little bit about the
Science.
birds. Yes. It's the definition phase. Woo!
Birds aren't real, you fucking cuck.
Well, let's just say for this purpose, we do that. We pretend they are real. Okay. Keep in mind, actually, no, this is a good point, John. These birds still existed because we're talking about Australia, and we're also talking about before the whole
before
replacement.
Eisenhower.
Yes, exactly. See, because this is the 30s, right? See, I
That's
knew
right, and
you and
it
your
was
intellectual brain would know.
Big brain. Yeah.
Mhm.
My
Very
big big brain.
Yes. So I just want to talk a little bit about the national bird of Australia. It's not a long Shane.
Love Australia.
Step
so
away
much.
from
Why
that
don't you just go
news.
Fucking live there.
Step off from that ledge, my friend.
What's the name
what's
of the
that song called?
What's the name of the song?
I don't remember.
Listeners, enjoy my painfully peaked audio there because Michael just killed my fucking brain. Do you want to give it to him, Shane, or do you want to leave him in suspense?
I mean, I might go get some cables and see if I could give him a jump.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
All right, I appreciate that. A jumper. Yes, okay.
That was the first song I ever played live in front of anybody, ever.
Really? Well, since we're taking a trip down memory lane, the first song I performed in front of people was Edwin McCain's I'll Be. And it's not as countrified as it sounds.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that
a good
song.
one. I do like that song, too.
I somewhat condemned myself by doing so, though, because I had to sing it at so many weddings subsequent to that. I had people that were in choir with me that years after, like, could you sing that song at my wedding? It's like, how much are you paying?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't sing Jumper. I just played the chords in a talent show in high school, and my friend Hannah sang it.
Oh, you're so cute.
Yeah, it was adorable. Anyway. So you're I'll Be, and I'll be Jumper.
I'll be jumping, yes.
Yes.
Good.
Just like Michael.
Probably
On
after
the
this
memes.
episode.
It's a 2-story house. You'll live.
Fuck me, you feathered freak, let's go.
Fuck me yourself, you coward.
The emu is the largest bird in Australia and the second largest bird in the world. They are obviously flightless birds, as you can tell by any sort of picture of them, and they can reach up to 6.2 feet in height. They can travel great distances and can reach a top speed of about 30 miles an hour. Yes, John?
Is the height bullshit?
No, it is true.
They're very tall.
Taller. I thought it was taller.
It is weird. I think you might be thinking of ostrich. I'm not going to. The other bird. The other giant flightless bird that I'm not going to try and say.
You mean the one we have festivals for here locally?
Yes, because there is a farm, I think, between here and Tucson. Mm-hmm. Not going to say what the bird is. Don't care.
I have a question.
If it's about the other bird, I don't care. What?
So you're saying that the national bird of Australia is an emu?
It's yes.
It's yes.
I guess if I had,
is that a lie?
I found it odd because a lot of other places and a couple of the sources for this paper or for my thing script, whatever. I'm dying. I'm stroking.
Answer the question, Michael.
It is the national bird, but it is treated differently than other countries and their national bird. Like in America, you can't just, snipe a bald eagle, right? But in Australia, they treat their national bird a little bit differently. So, yes, they are the national bird of Australia. To answer your question.
Okay.
Their feathers are typically brownish colors for camouflage, with their facial feathers gradually thinning to expose bluish skin. There are only a few natural predators, the dingo, who only try to eat their offspring, and the wedge-tailed... Yes.
Bullshit.
I was
appreciate
so happy.
Your joke,
you, yeah.
But yeah.
A little too on the nose for you.
I was hoping that someone would get that, because I was like, I originally wrote it as who would try to eat their babies, and I'm like, no, someone would catch that. Offspring.
I appreciate your attempt, friend.
They actually, I'll explain that in a little bit when we cover lies at the end. The dingo who try to eat their offspring, lie, blah, 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 and the wedge-tailed eagle, a massive 9-foot wingspan bird. So it's a massive fucking bird. It's like the size of a bald eagle. The emu aren't really affected by dingo, as the emu can jump into the air and kick at the dingo on its way down, like an actual karate thing. That's what Wikipedia told me.
Did you find any videos that we can show on the afterlife?
I can do that in this little break between now and then. Yeah. Because I think I tried and I couldn't find anything interesting. But I'll double check, because that would just be really cool. It'd be like a fight scene or whatever. The wedge-tailed eagle, however, swoops downwards from a great height and aims straight for their heads. So the ninja moves against the dingo aren't that useful against the eagle. The eagles also target emus in open ground with nowhere to hide. Under such circumstances, the emu can only run in a chaotic manner and frequently changes its direction to evade attack. Now, I said that for an important reason, which we will get to in a moment. Yes. So, emus are a migratory bird, and they regularly migrate after their breeding season. You can kind of see where this is going.
Yeah, I've dated a couple emus.
Emo.
And Doug? Because we haven't made that joke yet.
It works any way you spread it. It's fine.
Yes. Some 20,000 emus made their way from the coast inland towards that tasty wheat harvest that I mentioned earlier. With cleared land and additional water supplies for livestock, these giant-ass birds found paradise. They made their ways into cultivated land and consumed the crops, as well as leaving huge gaps in fences where rabbits could enter and cause further problems.
Can we analyze that sentence structure?
Large, huge holes.
I paused, and so I added another synonym for large.
Biglies.
Yes. The sentence was written as well as leaving large gaps in fences. So I don't know why I had another stroke here. Today is just not my day. It's been a long 3 or 4 days.
You're doing terrific.
Doing great, bud.
We're here.
With this massive influx of emus, which department do you think the farmers would turn to for aid?
Well, certainly the government, because they have had so much faith rewarded by them previously.
Your
Exactly.
government loves you.
Well, these farmers were military veterans, so they'd go to the part of the government that they know would help them out. The Ministry of Defense. The Minister of Defense, a Sir George Pierce, took up the farmers' call to action. He listened to a group of farmers who, being the World War I veterans they were, requested the deployment of machine guns against the birds who drew first blood.
Bullshit.
True. They requested machine guns because that's what they knew.
I would have assumed they would have asked to dig trenches.
No, well, yeah, that's a fair point, but
What about a
no,
moat?
just machine guns, yes, but a moat. The minister happily agreed. He thought the birds would make good target practice. However, it was also argued by some in the government that the operation was a way for the Australian government to be seen as publicly helping the farmers because there was a large secessionary movement that was moving through Western Australia. They wanted to form their own government. They wanted to split away from Australia total. And by doing this sort of helping these farmers out, it could, good karma, etc.
It's a bit of make good.
To lend credence to that theory, a cinematographer...
fucking excuse you?
To lend credence. What? To help with this theory, a cinematographer, which I got that right,
Well done.
Fox Movie Tone, one of the first newsreels that was popular in the 30s.
Talkies, yeah.
Yes, the tippy talkies or whatever
Uday
you said
spicy.
a long time ago. Yes. Was enlisted to help film this operation, right? To kind of help spread this good-natured government appeal to other people. So, the initial military operation was due to begin in October of that year, so in 1932. So, pretty much almost an immediate reaction to the emus moving inland. Since I listed the combatants on the other side, that is the emus, let me list the combatants from the Australian military. There were only 4 people. The commander was Major G.P.W. Meredith of the 7th Heavy Battery of the Royal Australian Artillery, and under him were Sergeant S. McMurray, Private William Hanlon, and why didn't I write the other? And Gunner J. O'Halloran. Their equipment consisted of 2 Lewis guns, which was a type of machine gun, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition.
So this episode is sponsored by Tourette syndrome.
What episode are we on? What's the episode number?
1,467,002.
78?
Sounds about right.
That's way
Either
off.
way, I feel like it's just a podcast on correcting your speech.
Honestly, I mentioned to my girlfriend the pre-roll last week where Courtney asked me if I had a speech therapist when I was younger, and I said I should have. I think of that probably every day now.
We are helping prepare you for your future presentations to classes, which, sadly, you're already being compensated for doing.
Yeah.
Michael, I believe in you. No one else here does.
I was going to say yeah, because I
But
don't.
I think if you aim for the moon, then sometimes you might be able to get in our ship.
So John is doing to you what his dad did to him when he was younger.
Fucking him?
Slap you and then turn you over and have his way with you.
Ooh,
It's called a compliment sandwich.
Yeah.
Baloosh? The original operation was delayed due to rainfall that caused the emus to scatter for a time. So, on November 2nd, the operation was finally ready to begin.
Okay, so quickly condense, because we've had a lot of nonsense leading up to right now. Condense it all into like 2 sentences.
Okay.
So essentially these these
emus
Australian
moved
fuckers in WW1, they go
home.
home, they get land.
Emus move in.
Mm-hmm.
Farmers ask government for help. Government says, here's 4 people and 2 machine guns and a fuckload of ammunition.
So it's
Have
like
at
the
it.
Inglorious Bastards versus an army of emus,
Yes.
except not as capable.
As we'll find out. So, the operation began on November 2nd. So, a little bit later because it was delayed due to rainfall. The first day...
The emus respected the rain delay.
Well, the military people did. The emus scattered. They were afraid of rain, apparently.
Me too.
The first day, the men traveled to a town called Campion, where some 50 emus were sighted. Seeing that the birds were out of range of the machine guns, local settlers tried herding the emus into an ambush. But the birds must have seen what was coming
Clearly.
as they split into small groups and ran. Remember, these air quotes easy targets can run up to 30 miles an hour.
I'm sorry, I just can't hold it together. I'm just thinking about like Saving Private Ryan, or like the scene in Inglourious Bastards where they're watching the movie, like the sniper's nest, and I'm just imagining like an emu sniper just like sniping off all of these Australians. I mean, we've come off Velocipaster and like other obnoxious premises where like I just want to see this emu like wielding a machine gun.
Anyway. They're way better than that. You don't give the emus enough credit. Trust me.
Emu, please.
So, the birds apparently had some sort of forethought and they split.
Like, fuck this.
Michael,
This is
Yes.
white nonsense.
how did you come up with this topic?
I've heard about the emu
How did we get
war
here?
before. I don't know.
What are we doing?
At one point, someone told me that cheese from some pizza place was liquid, and then I thought that I can make a podcast out of that.
Okay,
So,
continue.
nevertheless, after the first round failed to get any birds, a second volley of machine gun fire was able to kill, air quotes, a number of birds. Later in the day, a small flock was encountered, and perhaps a dozen birds were killed. The next day, or the next battle, occurred 2 days later, where Meredith had established an ambush near a local dam, where more than 1,000 emus were spotted heading towards that location. This time, the gunners waited until the birds were in close proximity. O'Halloran later wrote that Meredith commanded him to, quote, wait until you see the browns of their eyes.
That's a bullshit. That's fucking.
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
fucking lie.
I wanted to make that. It felt like
It was funny though. I liked it.
it set it up so much because they literally waited for the birds to come. And I'm like, someone had to have said, wait until you see the whites of their eyes.
But it's
I
funny that
couldn't
you
say
said
that.
brown, because then it's just like wait until you see their brown eyes.
Yes.
You know, their buttholes. Get it, Michael?
Shut the
Buttholes.
fuck up, John.
Upon opening fire, one of their guns jammed after killing only 12 birds. And
Fuck, they're coming right for us.
and the remainder quickly scattered before any more could be shot. No more birds were sighted that day, and it was quickly learned that emus cannot be felled with only one bullet. In the days that followed the disaster at the dam, Meredith, the commander, chose to move further south, where the birds were reported to be fairly tame. But again, he found only limited success. It was noted that, quote, each pack seems to have its own leader now. A big black plumed bird, a big black plumed bird, which stands fully 6 feet high and keeps watch while his mates carry out their work of distraction and warns them of our approach.
No.
And what's
Your
really
initial-
weird about this is that emu wears an eye patch to differentiate itself from the other emus, so that you know that it's a serious one. It's a leader.
And he's got a scar across that eye with the eye patch.
Your initial depiction and your mispronunciation just gave me a picture of a giant testicled emu just running around with huge black plums, just intimidating all the other ones into being coerced.
Sir, are you trying to describe a hybrid between a tanuki and an emu?
Maybe.
Why wouldn't I?
They were the lookouts, so, you got to have big balls in order to watch out for danger in the horizon. So,
How big though?
Big balls.
That's
Thank you.
really big balls.
Yeah.
That was an hour long, so that was. I might have to cut that a little bit. So I'm sorry, Shane. I know as much as you wanted that whole Snyder cut, but I think I might cut it a little bit there. At one point, Meredith even tried mounting one of the guns on a borrowed truck. It didn't work either, as the truck couldn't gain on the birds were too quick, and the ride was so rough that the machine gun couldn't even fire.
Does anybody else get Heavy Tremors vibes, but instead of it being the big worms, it's just fucking emus?
I did not for the whole time I wrote this episode, but now I do. Now I really want to see Tremors again. It's been a long
You've
time
seen
since
Tremors? I've seen a
Tremors
movie?
1, 2, 3, and the prequel, which was number 4.
What in the filibustering fuck?
It's a B flick. Of course I've seen it, because it's, especially the later ones, are pretty bad.
Courtney,
You know,
have you seen
it's-
Tremors?
No.
It's funny that you mention having a B flick, because you're going to need to be doing that an awful lot once Courtney finally sends you that package.
Ooh-wee.
Get it?
That's actually,
Get it,
that's what
Michael?
I've been doing
Michael, you
this
get
time, is getting my order placed.
Congratulations.
I
yes.
mean, it
Actually,
beats
I do
listening.
realize I think the only one that has Michael's address is Courtney, but she has the email address too.
if you can Africanize them as well, just, on the off chance they've got an exotic breed.
That's
please.
an extra cost. I wouldn't ask her to do that.
Oh, I'll pay
you're-
it.
Oh, okay.
You're
Fair enough,
worth
fair
it.
enough.
Don't sell yourself
I
short there,
appreciate
Michael. You're worth it.
I appreciate that. That makes me feel nice.
How do you feel about termites too?
Oh, I have some.
So do I.
Wow.
Probably everyone does.
I'm going to get you some hepatitis as well. You just wait.
Oh, now we're
it's
just
like
listing things
Christmas
we
here.
can give away.
I guess
Mm.
now is the time to announce the Disinformed podcast mail service.
Please subscribe today.
Much like Michael, Christmas comes but once a year.
Can we,
Joke's on you. Christmas never came for me.
can we do a themed subscription box? Because this could get really great.
Yeah, I have some toenail clippings that I can donate.
I could just send a CD of me attempting to pronounce words.
Impress your enemies. Impress your friends.
The only currency we take is if you actually pay attention.
By
Nope.
the 8th of November, so 6 days after the initial operation began, 2,500 rounds of ammunition had been fired, and the number of birds killed is uncertain. While one account estimates around 50 birds, another account provided by the settlers gives a range from about 200 to 500 birds.
Are they just leaving them or scattering them to the winds? What I mean, you'd have a pretty tangible way to keep track of your impact.
I thought the same thing when I read this. I was like, what, did the birds turn into mist? Did the birds pick up their fallen brethren to bury them elsewhere? Like,
Yeah, you don't leave your dead.
Exactly. It brings to mind what you said a long time ago, Shane, about like having to cut off coyote ears to prove that you killed the coyote from an episode. I don't even remember when, but like there's got to
Frontier
be
justice.
Yeah, that
There-
was your one of your kin.
Yeah.
And
So
myself.
it's a giant ass bird. Like there would be some sort of proof that you killed it. Unless, say, like it maybe got a couple of bullets and then it died off in the wilderness or something like that, but that wouldn't count as a kill anyway.
It's also, you've described it as being the bloody Sahara of Australia, so it's just, open, barren wasteland. You're gonna find the bodies.
True.
Also, I would believe they would be edible. I've eaten ostrich, so I can't imagine that you couldn't eat emu. That seems like a gigantic waste.
It does, actually, yes. I mean, like, because it's not like you're shooting at them with shotguns. It's a giant ass bullet. You're not peppering them with little bullets
Little
from
balls?
the shotgun. Yes, exactly. Sorry,
Plus,
you revealed my kink.
We're gonna give a big gold star to Courtney because she actually was able to pronounce the bird that shall not be named.
Yes,
I don't understand.
I just can't talk.
But try.
It's no,
Please?
I've tried for 29
no,
years.
just ostrich.
Ostrich.
Oh!
Ostrich, man. Ostrich.
Stretch me so fucking hard.
Summarizing the polls, an ornithologist commented, The
so
machine.
you can bust out ornithologist, but you cannot pronounce
But
ostrich.
Yeah,
It's
but ostrich,
the S's.
that's a big S.
I don't know. Maybe I have a latent lisp or something. I don't know.
Or a stroke.
It could be constant stroking. This ornithologist.
And there's the episode title.
Constant stroking. An ornithologist commented the machine gunner's dreams of point-blank fire into serried masses of emus were soon dissipated. The emu command had evidently ordered guerrilla tactics, and its unwieldy army soon split up into innumerable small units that made use of the military equipment uneconomic. So this bird guy is saying, hey, Emu High Command said guerrilla tactics. This is Vietnam now, before it was Vietnam.
Galrilla Godot was there?
Just carrying. Yes.
Now that is a picture. It's just a giant army of emu led by a 400-pound gorilla with a football helmet and a leg dangling from a necklace.
So, I don't know if it was on the show proper or one of the peripheral shows, but we talked about Peter Jackson doing the 4K restoration of Lord of the Rings. I snagged it, and that's why this has come to mind. But you know, in the beginning of the Fellowship, when it shows the battle at Mount Doom, or essentially the big battle,
yes,
and you see it's like the first battle sequence ever shown in the saga, and the orcs are rolling down the field. I see that scene, but with emus and Galrilla.
And 4 jackasses with machine guns going...
Oh, it's jammed. Oh, shit. Get back on the beat up truck.
Oh, they're coming right for us.
They're coming right for us.
They're like redneck.
I think we are describing the perfect B movie that doesn't exist yet.
If I had money, I would donate to it. I would.
You don't have to have money. That's the point.
Fair.
If Kevin Smith can do this, we can crowdsource this nonsense.
If Courtney can make a meme from scratch and put it onto our Instagram page, then we can do it. Unless that was a borrowed meme from Velocipaptor. Velocipaptor.
Velocipaptor.
It's spreading.
Velocipaptor.
Which one?
The perfect Velociraptor doesn't exist.
Oh no, I found that on the internet.
Shh, take credit, girl. Take credit.
I'll just cut that. What you said. Just say yes. Just
Good.
say yes.
Censor Courtney. Hashtag CourtneyGate.
While you're at it, cut me and let's get this over with.
On November 8th, members in the Australian House of Representatives discussed the operation. After noting the negative coverage of the events in the local media, which included claims that only a few emus had died, Pierce, the Minister of Defense, withdrew the military personnel and the guns later that day. In his official report, Meredith reported that his men had suffered one casualty, Private Hanlon, when he dropped the machine gun on his foot and broke it. Meredith later wrote, "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. They are like Zulus, who even dum-dum bullets could not stop."
That's bullshit.
That was a correct statement. He did write that in his report.
Dum-dum bullets?
Dum-dum bullets are projectiles that are designed to expand on impact, like a hollow point bullet.
It's not just me operating a pistol?
No.
They're also missing the point that it was overwhelming numbers with the Zulu hordes that they're referring to.
As opposed to like
they weren't
50
bulletproof
fast emus that just ran away when they got shot at once or twice.
Through all of your science talk and all of your mispronunciations, I think this is the emu that's breaking Shane's back.
It kind of is. I'm surprised.
I'm just waiting to see, the German high command that will come in with flamethrowers in a few years and just roast the entire fucking lot of them.
So the next section is called the second counteroffensive because
fun.
The emu original incursion I called First Blood.
How much more of there is this, Michael?
Not much. It's literally half a page, I promise. With the operation a failure, Meredith and his men withdrew. The emu attacks continued, leading to farmers again asking for support. The Premier of Western Australia, so I guess like the governor for the U.S. equivalent, lent his strong support to the renewal of military assistance. At the same time, a report was issued that indicated 300 emus had been killed in the initial operation. So I guess they did go back and count the emu bodies. Acting on the request in the report, by the 12th of November, so literally 4 days after they called it off, the Minister of Defense, Sir George Pierce, who would later be referred to as the Minister of the Emu War, approved the resumption of military efforts, explaining why the soldiers were necessary to combat the large emu population.
I am calling bullshit on the Minister of the Emu War.
Nope, he would be referred to that for the rest of his life.
It's on his fucking tombstone.
That would be great if it was. I honestly would embrace that sort of especially if it was this sort of kerfuffle, I would definitely
Yes.
But what if it was what if it was ostriches instead? Would you still feel the same?
No, because I wouldn't be able to say it.
Well, you're already going to get the title of the crowned king of clusterfuck, my friend, so...
I
brace for
try.
impact.
You better be ready to wrap this up with a bow.
Oh, I will. It ends pretty nicely. This time, however, the military agreed... This time, however, the military agreed to lend the guns to the Western Australian government on the expectation they would provide the necessary people. However, they pulled Meredith back in, mostly because of the apparent lack of experienced machine gunners in the state. They took to the field the next day, with the military finding a degree of success for once, with approximately 40 emus killed. By the 2nd of December, the soldiers were killing approximately 100 emus per week. Meredith was recalled on the 10th of December, and in his report he claimed 986 kills with 9,860 rounds at a rate of exactly 10 rounds per confirmed kill. Additionally, Meredith claimed 2,500 wounded birds had died as a result of their wounds. In assessing the success of the cull,
Take it from one, bitch.
In assessing the success of the cull, a local article reported that although the use of machine guns had been criticized in many quarters, the method proved effective and saved what remained of the wheat. The last section, the aftermath. Despite the problems encountered with the cull, farmers requested military assistance in 1934, 1943, and 1948, only to be turned down by the government. Instead, the bounty system that had been instigated in 1923 and then subsequently removed was continued, and this proved to be effective. Some 57,000 emu bounties were claimed over a 6-month period in 1934. Whether or not they were actually emus or not can be debated. The real decider on the Great Emu War was actually a simple implementation. They built better fences out of metal that can't be easily dug under or jumped over. So the real lesson here was of deterrence. If the emus can't get into your farm, then they can't eat your crops.
I thought you were going to say the Australian government instead decided to outlaw wheat and wheat byproducts.
That sounds more like an American thing.
You would not be wrong.
So you're saying the solution to all our problems is to build bigger fences?
Gotta build a wall.
The wall.
Deterrence. Yes.
Oh, is that what we're calling it?
Yes.
Deterrence.
Or some sequins, as Michael had said previously.
So TLDR that, Michael.
Emus invade. Farmers say, government help. Government here's some Joe Schmoes and a couple machine guns. They
Okay.
fail. Government's
Okay.
just kidding, come back.
Okay.
Farmers but we need help. Government's
Okay.
you do it yourself. Here's some guns.
No way.
And they're okay.
And?
And then they build better fences. And then the emu stop.
Well, here's your even faster synopsis, John. You can't beat birds with bullets.
I like that better. Okay.
Michael, I think we got 3 of your lies.
Yes. So the first one kind of got obscured. I think actually because Shane called bullshit 2 or 3 words before I said it. So when I said it's just the World War I, the Great War, the war to end all wars, the coldest war, etc. the coldest war was a lie. It was a lazy lie.
Yeah, that's a lazy fucking lie. I say we got that one.
Yes. The dingoes who try and eat their babies. Instead of dingoes trying to eat their babies, the dingoes actually go for the emu's neck. Kind of makes sense if you picture the actual emu itself. The neck looks pretty easy to snap. So if you can reach it, you might as well go for it. Let's see. So I listed 4 people. That was a lie. There were only 3 people that actually went.
I wish everyone could see Courtney's dramatic eye roll there, because I agree.
Well, so I and I had this thought. So the real people were Meredith, Sergeant S. McMurray, and Gunner J. O'Halloran.
Oh, yeah, because I know all these people.
Halloran
From
made
The
me
Shining?
think of, yes. And so I thought, well, what other people did he work with? Oh, William Hanlon. Hanlon. And so Private W. Hanlon was a lie. Yes. And then you got the whites of their eyes. The last lie is his men suffered 1 casualty. Private Hanlon, when he dropped the machine gun on his foot and broke it, there were no casualties. No one did that.
I thought that was just poor writing on your part. I didn't think to call that as a lie.
That was
Ouch.
my exact same thought as I was going, he doesn't understand what the word casualty means.
Michael, I thought you understood. I'm just stupid.
I appreciate that, John. I
Hey,
appreciate
us idiots
that.
got to stick together, right?
Yes. Apes apart, apes alone weak. Apes together strong.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
stick together like the pages of your magazines.
So, Michael, 1, thank you for not making that scientific at all. I do sincerely thank you for that. Now, do you have the GameStop analogy?
Yes. So
Is it actually written and not by you?
it is written, and I even have it as a source and cited.
Can I
Okay.
just take a moment
Yes, please.
I was just discussing with Superfan Steven this very day the lengths to which I have gone to try to make my lies more sophisticated. In point of fact that I have now written paragraphs worth of material on
That
my
is
own
inconsequential.
out of whole
Yeah.
cloth to try to come up with something, because I'm like, we have to get better. We have to refine our methods, right? We're trying to make this improve, and we want to bet. Nope. I said there were 4 guys, but they was 3. I'm going to quit trying so hard. I'm just going to fall back on stupid, nonsensical bullshit
Shane,
from this
you'll-
point forward.
Shane, you're going to remember. You're going to remember this.
O'Halloran, if I said O'Halloran, if I said Halloran, and I said William Hanlon, I thought you would have made the connection with
Okay,
it.
Michael,
Okay.
typically, if you
Children,
were putting
children.
coherent sentences together, then yes, I may have made that connection, but mostly I was trying to figure out whether you were still speaking English, or if a demon had possessed your fucking throat and you were speaking in tongues.
Okay, let me moderate this real quick.
Shut the fuck up, John!
I think what we are in desperate need of right now are
Is a bullet.
actual rules for the lies. And we should come up with those, and they don't even have to be published anywhere. But I feel like what Shane's getting at is very, very valid. And Courtney, you touched on this last week too, where it's like, I feel like that's a bullshit lie. And I think I'm kind of the cancer of this group, where I incepted the fucking dumb list lies, or the non-lie. So we should refine and make sure that everybody, like, there's a no-no list and a go-go list, you know? As far as
Okay.
lies
Will the
are
go-go
concerned.
list come to my party? Do they dance?
No,
They will do something at your party.
Okay.
They will
but not dancing.
swing a mace on a chain at your head and try to kill you in
Shane,
a
would
dance
that
club.
make your efforts feel more validated
No.
if everyone had the same set of rules?
If anything, it makes it even worse.
No,
I
wasn't,
hate
wasn't-
being validated.
I wasn't saying this is something that I was lamenting this, and I was saying I really have to, I find myself writing a lot more than I used to, because I'm, it's my own problem. I'm not trying to foist this off on the group. I'm just saying, I thank you, Michael, because now I'm not going to try so hard. I think I'm just going to, fall back on some of the lazy ways and means, and then we'll all just be upset at each other.
I wasn't lazy for some of those lies. I honestly read O'Halloran and I thought Dick Halloran, and I'm sorry. I know communicate correct.
I'm not going to stop until I see the browns of your eyes, Michael.
That's because they're filling with blood because of the extent of the strokes that I am currently having.
Understandable. I was not trying to brute fuck you at the end of the episode. I was just chuckling to myself that my expectations may be a bit too high. But please tell us about your Gamestop stocks.
Or stonks.
So I will just give an analogy to explain what is going on with GameStop.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Or what had happened up until this point of recording, which is...
Wednesday night?
February 3rd. Yeah.
Because who knows, I could check my phone and everything could have gone to shit.
Which has happened a lot.
Yes. So I found this on the subreddit Wall Street Bets. It was my favorite analogy for describing this whole thing, and it doesn't use any stock like descriptions. And I kind of tweaked it a little bit to make it a little bit more narrative sense. But here we go. There's a rich kid in town. Let's call him Melvin. He thinks he's really smart. He finds a coupon for $20 off of the new Nintendo Switch during the holidays, with no limit on the number of units. He thinks, this is easy. I'll go ahead and sell the Switch now for $200 and then buy it for $180 with the coupon. Easiest $20 I'll ever make. He goes and tells all his parents' friends at the country club that he can get them the new Nintendo Switch for their kids. He collects $200 each from 150 parents with a promise to get them a Switch. He has now earned $130,000 and will use that money to purchase Nintendo Switches for $27,000. He'll have earned $3,000 in just a few hours, making his parents proud. Now, there's another kid watching Melvin this entire time. Let's call him Keith. Keith doesn't like Melvin. Keith finds out that there are only 100 new Switches shipped to the whole city that they're in. Keith and his 99 friends buy all 100 Nintendo Switches on the spot. Later in the day, Melvin goes to GameStop and with his $20 off coupon says, I'll take 150 Switches, please. GameStop guy looks at him and says, sorry, we're all sold out. Melvin goes to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. He can't find a single Switch and cannot fulfill his orders. Meanwhile, Keith is telling all his friends about what Melvin promised the members at the country club. Keith says, nobody sell him the Switch you bought, no matter what. And they do just that because Keith and his friends hate Melvin.
Yeah, fuck you, Melvin.
Exactly. With a name like that. Melvin is in trouble. His parents' rich friends are all asking, when are they getting their Switch? Melvin's parents are angry, but they don't want to lose their standing at the country club. They have to help Melvin get those 150 Switches. Keep in mind that there are only 100 Switches in the whole city, so there's already issues there, right? This is where supply and demand comes in. The price of Switches in the city skyrockets. Melvin's parents were able to get just a few units from Keith's friends, but they had to pay inflated prices for them. First $1,000, $2,000, now $3,000. It's nearing Christmas, and every rich parent at the country club is desperate for their promised Switch. They call upon Melvin's promise and force him to pay whatever price Keith and his friends demand, making Melvin lose much more than he made in the first place. And that kind of describes the whole idea or the premise behind the whole GameStop thing.
And you managed to lose money.
Well, I bought when GameStop was a little bit too high, but the whole idea, as being one of the friends, is that I hold off and I don't sell my shares and hope, because that's where the magic comes in, is that I hope that they demand that Melvin buys these Switches, and then I can sell my Switch and the couple of Switches that I bought for a lot more than what I originally got them for.
So we will need to follow up on your stocks.
Yes.
May I ask
for
a question?
the meme? Or go ahead.
Yeah.
You can blur this out if you want to. What was your initial investment?
Oh, no, I can keep this in. I don't mind. I bought 2 stocks at $320, and then I bought 2 1/4 for $100.
I do not feel bad about not paying into this podcast.
Yeah, and yet you haven't bought like a professional like audio interface, or you guys, or you, just.
This is.
But if Shane, if he doesn't sell his Switch and then someone buys his Switch for more money, then he can have like a studio in his house.
Yeah.
With his stonks.
Because what people don't understand about the subreddit, because I've done a lot of digging into the subreddit, is that is their whole shtick. They're all about big money or big losses. They literally talk. One of their subsections is all about loss porn, where people show pictures of their losses on the stock market.
There is a video that I saw and it didn't make any real sense to me until you just said that. But it was on the subreddit Watch People Die Inside. And it was a video of a dude who lost 50K. Like a Redditor losing 50K in the stock market. And it was someone that was, no joke, probably 20 or 21 years old. Oh, and he's like in his car and just weeping openly because he lost 50K of money that he shouldn't have been betting.
Yeah. This is like, of course I could use this money, but it's not like I will have to move out of the house. I'll be homeless if I don't do.
Well,
that's
okay,
what
so
a lot
let
of people have
me
been
get this
doing,
straight. So I tell Shane to buy $100 plugin, and you guys mercilessly are just like, look at John and his wife privilege. And then your follow-up maneuver to that, Daddy, that's not my daddy, is to go fucking buy $400 of stocks.
This is my student loans that I always get at the beginning of every semester. So
hold on. We can take this one step further. Michael, there are people who are waiting for stimulus checks like their life depends on it. And you just have like $600 to throw at some bullshit stocks at GameStop?
They're student loans, and I actually do think that that they will skyrocket. Okay. What do they say on there? Diamond hands to the moon,
Michael,
apes together strong.
Here's the thing. You got involved. We know your luck. It's not going to happen.
Oh, trust me.
You just forced the band to break up.
I bought literally Monday morning at $320, and it just... Today was the best day because it wasn't losing $100 at the end of the day.
Now, I don't have the source for it, and I don't have the exact amount, but let's end on a happy note here. With the GameStop thing. So there is someone who invested, and they made it out big. And they did proceed to literally buy a whole grip of actual Nintendo Switches to donate to children at the Minneapolis, Children's Hospital. So there's a happy note.
So, Michael, are you committing to that?
There are multiple stories of that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I make a lot of money, I'll donate some. Yes, and I'll show proof of it too. Yeah, I have no problem with that.
You heard it here first. Mm-hmm. All three of you.
But there are multiple stories of people doing that. Like one of my favorite ones was apparently they talk about chicken tendies, so chicken tenders a lot. They call themselves degenerates, and that's
degens.
Them.
Okay.
Yes, but anyway, one person bought several hundred orders of chicken tenders from Raising Kings, a fast food joint, and donated them to a local hospital or a nearby hospital. So there's a lot of stories of these sort of donations, people donating to children's hospitals that are coming from this Reddit, from these people that are making somewhat money from it.
I have a question for Shane, and I have a question for Courtney. So, you've heard what Michael does with his free time. He goes on Wall Street bets. You both know what I do with my free time, which is accidentally watch very weird, disgusting things.
And fuck your father.
Allegedly.
Well, not anymore. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah, I aged out.
Yeah, we've only confirmed he fucks his sister.
We're living in a world now where you have to go down one of these forks in the road. You either have to follow Michael.
Invest in
you
Wall
either have
Street.
to follow Michael, and you have to go on r/Wall Street bets and try and have that make sense. Or you can follow me, and we can have fun, and we can watch videos of dang. What road you going down, guys?
Trick question, I kill myself.
Fair.
And Shane and I have a suicide pact, so I'm out.
All right. Well, fuck you, Michael. I'll see you on the flippity flip.
Straight to the moon.
So yet again, your, what should we call it, linguistic malfunction has brought you into a state of peril because, Michael, it's stockbrokers, not stalker. So you've just misconstrued what people have been calling you for years and misappropriated funds based on a lie.
Oh,
damn, Noop.
shit. That changes everything.
It sure should.
I need to go.
And I
I need to
invested
rethink
money.
my life.
This is so fucked.
Wait a minute.
And
I didn't know.
If you are tired of being a victim of Michael's folly, just like the rest of us, then congratulations, you've made it to the end of the episode. So for all of you sitting at home, tearing out your hair and just wishing it would end, I assure you, it's inbound, like a bullet through the back of the skull. So, if you want to avoid us like the plague, let me tell you how to do so. We have social networks that you can avoid actively by staying away from Instagram and, at Disinformed Podcast, which is what we go by there. So just eschew that handle. Stray from it as quickly as humanly possible. Also, actively avoid Facebook.com/Disinformed Podcast. Do not go to that site. There is nothing but pain that will follow. And furthermore, if you just want to watch a bunch of random posts that are automatically generated by a podcast provider app, you could go to Twitter and find us at Disinformed Pod and completely break your brain, just like Michael has done with this stirring installment. Or you can just, again, avoid it.
It's also the only place I post his notes.
Cool. Anywho, so also, you can find us on YouTube on Wednesdays and Fridays. We have fabulous fan fiction that airs on Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And then of our decompression podcast that we do for YouTube, Friday mornings, called Disinformed After Dark, which we are unfortunately going to be doing right now. So I'll see whether or not I've got sharp objects I need to get rid of before I sit down for that little installment. But
It'll be a good time.
for this stirring edition of the Disinformed podcast, ye moves forever. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
I'm Courtney.
So long and good fucking riddance.
Good fucking night.